welcome to this Birkbeck Inspires session. We're super excited to have you all join us today. My name's Jenna and I'm from Birkbeck Futures here at Birkbeck University, which is your careers, enterprise and talent service. Now, we've got loads of you joining today. Some of you are students, graduates, others who are joining us who aren't students and graduates and want to find out more a little bit about the startup scene in 2020. And I'm going to introduce Merle and Doyen, who are our brilliant guests here today. And we're going to then dive straight into some questions that I've got for Merle and Doyen. Now, the first guest who I'm going to introduce is Merle. Merle is the CEO and founder of Feridio, which is an award-winning 3-year-old tech startup in the business and legal services sector. Now, we partner with Merle and Feridio as part of our Pioneer program, which I am going to be telling you a little bit more about towards the end of the session. But Merle's perfectly poised to speak with us today. Hi, Merle. Awesome. And our second speaker is Doyen. Now, I'm super excited to have Doyen here because she's got an affiliation with, because she was one of our finalists in the Pioneer program in 2018. She's also a PhD candidate at Birkbeck at the moment. She's been a business owner since 2002, and her company Map Her Limited runs entrepreneurial courses within accelerator programs. She tailors strategy sessions as well as entrepreneurship capacity development programs for startups. These are two powerhouse women who I've got in the floor today. So thank you so much, Doyen and Merle, for joining us. This is going to be awesome. To kick us off, ladies, just even when you say the word 2020, it has been an absolute roller coaster of a year. I would love to know what have been the biggest learnings for you both so far this year in your businesses. Merle, if I can come to you first.
Gosh, what an enormous question. I think the biggest learnings are that 2020 has been all about people. And I think that sometimes gets forgotten in the sort of the panic that many small businesses, particularly in startups especially, have felt for money. We've seen funding dry up. We've seen, banks tell us that, despite government guarantees, we don't hit the right criteria. And I think money has been the big theme, but yet actually the biggest learning for me is people. We have to look after each other. We have to carry people with us. And actually business is very personal and it's very human. And I think the people who have survived best, and I think even for very good companies, it's still been a question of survival and job security. Those that have survived best have been the people that have got really strong cultures, that have got great sets of values, and that haven't lost touch with humanity. They've been businesses that have been down there in the trenches with their customers, changing things, learning new things, trying new things, experimenting, doing their damnedest to make sure that in these times they're still relevant. Because many of us haven't been. We've been the sort of non-urgent, non-vital, but really nice to have providers of products and services. And I think, what 2020 has taught us is if you're not urgent and you're not vital to these very peculiar circumstances, then you're going to struggle. And it's actually the people that have spotted this, have been talking to their customers, getting out there, staying connected, being very honest with each other about how everything feels, that they're the people that have powered their businesses forward.
I've definitely seen a lot of people open up and be vulnerable during this time as well, and really pull on each other to help each other as much as possible. Doyen, if I can come to you, what would you say your biggest learnings have been so far this year in 2020?
Hello, Jenna, and hello, everyone. Similar to Merle, funny enough, it's people, but maybe from a different perspective for me. What I found as a business owner was that I had to really, really understand my customer segment. So one of the things that I do in my company is I organize a workshop for women, and we'll normally have about 40 to 50 women. And before lockdown, say about March, we had 40 registered. And so when everybody was pivoting to online events, I sent everybody a short survey and said, should we go online? Should we have this online? I gave 3 options. I said, let's postpone it to a later date in the year, which we do not know, maybe sometime end of August, or you can transfer to next year, or you can cancel. And of the 40 people, one person, and I gave the option of an online event on the date of the event. Nobody wanted an online event. And I was like, I thought everybody was going online. So what happened was I had to stick with my original plan, and thankfully we were able to have it in August. Only 7 people transferred to next year. And it occurred to me that a key part of my value proposition that I might not have been able to outline prior to lockdown was the fact that people wanted to network. So it wasn't just the learning, it wasn't just the content of the workshop, but the networking, the people they met and were able to connect with and grow with. But having said that, I still realized that I had to leverage the whole online space. So I created a new customer segment and a new product, a new type of training, which I offered to Accelerator, which has actually really been taken up, believe it or not, internationally. So we're able to also pivot to the international space to offer these courses as an online. But my other customer segment that was loyal, they were interested, and I had to tailor my business to what my customer needs were. Yeah.
Such a brilliant example, Doyen. I think of that word pivot that I know, Merle, we talk about all the time. This word has come up all the time in 2020, but it is about navigating what's happening right now. And I think, Doyen, you've given such a great example of having to pivot your business and actually open up a new segment, but staying loyal to who you are as a business and what you've done. And I think that element of going global, it is really interesting. I'm in the training and development space, and it is about that network and really making those connections in person, but working with what we're doing at the moment. Merle, anything that you want to add on to that?
It reminds me in many ways what we've all experienced sort of very intensively in business is what many of us, I think, have kind of gotten very used to in a personal capacity. I mean, one of the things I absolutely love for business these days is social media. And it was people on social media that convinced me to go ahead and become independent and run my own business. And those people weren't people in my immediate network physically. They were actually people on the other side of the world who would share blueprints, who were really open to DMs and answering questions. And I think one of the things that I've watched play out as we've all got a little bit more comfortable with being on screen and being online is that sense of almost slightly relaxed conversation. We can see into people's lives, we can see their cats, their kids, the wallpaper, their decor, everything that's going wrong as they're trying to hold this very professional demeanor. And somehow it's engendered this much deeper sense of connection. And I notice, you know, I think we're all a bit exhausted, don't get me wrong, from the endless Zooms. That is quite tiring. But I think also the quality of some of these conversations has gone far deeper than they might have done where it was a much more rushed coffee shop conversation or a conversation across a desk. And I think if there's one thing I really want us to hold on to as we start eventually, hopefully soon, getting back to a more physical environment, which I think we need, that permission to ask real questions and to reach out and to give ourselves that sort of, I think many of us are very nervous about asking questions. What if someone's going to judge me? What if they expect me to know this stuff? Nobody knows half of the stuff when you're running a business that you need to know, but someone in your peer group's going to know it, right? I hope we take that sort of permission to keep asking questions, to keep connecting and to keep being more relaxed about the conversation, because we're going to be stronger for it, for sure.
Definitely. And that element of connection, like I said, I think that is something to hold on to. Hopefully we will get into the physical space more, but really, like you said, going deeper in those conversations. And I want to shift the conversation towards the sort of the real crux of the discussion today. And it is about, can we start a business now? Is now a good time to start a business? We've witnessed companies who have successfully changed direction and they're thriving. I've also witnessed companies that are up and running that have started and made the most of this opportunity, that people are seeing it as well and trying to look on the positives. Doyen, I'm going to come to you first. Is now a good time to start a business? What would you say to that?
Every time is a good time to start a business. The key thing is, does your business fill a gap in the market? So as long as you find a gap that you can fill, then it's a good time to start a business. I mean, beginning of lockdown, we saw the Joe Weeks showing us. He realized that people needed to be active, to exercise. We didn't know what to do with little kids if you have little kids, and so he started all this, and people joined up, and even if you had charged everybody, people will have paid because it was a need that was there. Other needs like farmers markets, all farmers all around me, because I live in Essex here, and I found a lot of people needing fresh produce, and all those people that did not have any they didn't have any internet access or any internet means of delivering products to their customer. All of a sudden, they were putting in flyers. You could pick up your groceries, you could order food baskets. And so people started doing that because, again, they found a need and they were able to meet that need. So the question is, what you want to do, or whatever it is your business is about, does it meet a need in the market right now? If the answer is yes, then always a good time to start a business. That's what I would say, though.
Great, thank you so much, Dorian. Merle, just want to come into you off the back of that. What would you say in terms of kicking off a business now? Is there any other, I guess, bits of advice or information that you'd want to share?
I 100% agree with Dorian. I think, know the opportunity. Is it urgent? Is it vital right now? If it really is, then you're in a pretty strong position. But to judge whether it's urgent or vital, make sure you know your customer segment really well. A little bit like Dorian said earlier. Don't make assumptions. Go in and really test. And if your conclusions, and you've got to have conversations to do that, so don't be afraid of having those conversations. If your conclusions are, yes, actually, this looks like it's a really good need, go for it, because you're in the right moment to do that. Just plan really, really well. You don't have to write an opus magnus, please do not. But do make sure you've got a really good plan, and it's built around that customer that you have a really good proposition for. Urgent or vital, go for it. If it's a nice to have, it's a bit of a luxury. If there is that strong sense of I really need it right now, it's going to be harder. So you might want to come back a little bit to the drawing board and see whether you can finesse what you're thinking about to really get into that. Is it immediate? The reality of the market and economics today are that people are spending less. They're looking for more impact, purpose, significance. If you're in that space, you may be in a right theme. They're also working and living in a very different way. So get into the shoes of your customers. Look at how they're behaving right now. You might have to wait a few months, which might give you a lot of time to plan and to develop something for when people go back to behaving in a particular way, assuming we have confidence that they will. But really look at how that target customer is behaving. At what point are you going to fit into their day? How are they going to feel when they encounter you? How are they going to encounter you? And how are you going to get that sort of must-have right now, so what factor? And that's really powerful. I'm going to drop everything else and pay attention to you for about 30 seconds. And if you've got them in that 30 seconds, you've got them. Yeah. Just make sure that plan really delivers on that.
That classic elevator pitch moment, those 30 seconds to capture your audience's attention. And those conversations, I think, are so key. And where everyone is online now, certainly what I've found when I reach out to people on LinkedIn, I reach out to people who I love what they're doing, I love, ask for that classic virtual coffee, people are more receptive to it. And you don't have to now go across London to visit someone, like you said, and have a rushed coffee to get back somewhere else. And I think it's making the most of those opportunities, because in those conversations, it just takes someone to ask a question or make a suggestion or a comment that you haven't thought about, and suddenly you've opened up another opportunity and thought, oh my goodness. And the more conversations you have, the more ideas you're going to have moving forward. And it is about having those conversations with your customers. I couldn't agree more. But if we look at the options for people who are keen to get going now, and we look at the starting point, Dorian, what are the options that people have? What is the starting point that they need?
I mean, looking at my own journey, I started my business. I became a business owner in 2002, and I did not go out to start up an incorporated business. I plugged into direct selling. And incidentally, my thesis is on looking at instances of things like direct selling and other such organizations and how they can build capability, because for every business you need to build resources. So it could be monetary resources, it could be people, it could also be skills that you need to develop as a business owner. And if right now you don't have the monetary resources, or what you find is that the environment or the climate is not really ready for you, like Merle said earlier, maybe not right now, then you can plug into something that allows you to build capabilities. Okay, so for instance, join up with somebody that a startup and offer some hours as a volunteer for a few hours and build strength. Because as a business owner, you just don't go from zero to being a master super sharp business owner. You have to learn things, and sometimes you learn it by volunteering, you learn it by plugging into other means. I know people talk about franchising. It's very, very expensive to start, but at least it gives you a brand name that you can leverage to now develop something. And so look at other options that you have. Secondly, I say that look at the market, do an external analysis and match it with your own personal strengths. So I'm an acronym girl, so I have an acronym in my head that, so I'm looking at what's your personality, what are the natural abilities you have, what are the interests you have, and what are the skills that you have right now, and then match that with what the market needs right now, and look at how you can match those skills, your personality, your interest, and all that with the market needs right now, and then just begin. Start with whatever it is that you have. And I think that those are the kind of things that people can do. Start small. Don't think you have to have all the money that you will need and have a full-fledged business plan. Start small, plug into something that develops you as a person and helps you to be ready for when your money and the timing matches up with your business idea.
Brilliant. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. Merle, I'm going to just come to you to bat off the back of that, if that's okay.
Again, I agree. And I think one of the powerful elements of this session is you've got two founders who are going to agree, because I think invariably this is how we all start. Just start. I think the best thing that you can do is to obviously have your plan. Do spend some time on that plan. This is the fun time, right? Everything is up for grabs. You're allowed to go out there, be optimistic, be ambitious, have a vision. I remember setting out, somebody said to me at the time I started Furlio, which is my third, but my first fully independently owned startup. They said, write a 20-year plan. I thought that was absolutely insane. And actually, after about year sort of 15, I was like, I'm just going to make this up, right? We have a concession in Disney at this point. I have no idea. I've run out of ideas completely. But it was a really good discipline to actually say, all right, where do I think this is going? What do I want from this? Do I want a business that's going to scale? Do I want a business that's just going to be really, really good and really strong and size isn't going to matter so much? What do I personally want? And, I spend a lot of time on one of the very first sessions that we kick off on you as a founder and what that means and where the creativity comes from. I mean, founders are the greatest asset their business ever has. So this is the stage where you just give yourself permission to be creative, to go experiment, to research, and just do really thorough research. I agree with everything that Dorian said, because I think getting started is really important. But in getting started, go out there and have the conversations. Try to make your proposition tangible to the people that you're talking to. And the people that you're talking to should be your target customers as well, real target customers if you can get them. Give them a vision of their world with what you are proposing to build in it, and then see if they think that's going to make it better. I mean, literally sit down and say, if I did something like this, would that work? And actually, some of the negative feedback, some of the most skeptical feedback is some of the most powerful feedback you'll get, because people will say, why would I do that? How would that work? But if you probe those questions further, you'll probably get to the golden nugget, which they'll say, yeah, but I would do that. And if you did it that way, that might be interesting. That's the way to hone the plan. And that sort of very early stage research where, sometimes you'll get really excitable feedback. Sometimes you'll get really kind of skeptical feedback. That's where the golden nugget of your real business proposition grows from. So go out there and just do the research. You don't have to take any official steps right now. You don't have to jack the job in if you've got the job still. You don't have to suddenly, go register a company or start spending a lot of money on kit or equipment. But do this groundwork and really enjoy it. Do it really thoroughly, because what it will give you is a really strong sense of, am I up for this? Am I ready for this? Is this what I actually want? Do I really understand where it's going? And do I believe in the idea? And if you get to the end of that and you think, yeah, I've got a really powerful mission here, and a mission statement is one of the best things you can have at this stage. I love Furlio's mission. I can stand up and shout Furlio's mission pretty much from any high building or even in the middle of the park occasionally. It has been known on away days. It's what gives you that rise. And if you really believe that, it's going to power you forward.
Absolutely. And I'm just seeing some comments in there because people are realizing that Pioneer is the program at Birkbeck that is exactly built for this. Doyen, you've been on the program. I'm going to put on sort of your experience already, and Merle, you're our main partner for the program, and we'll be kicking off in November. And that's what we want to do, is to take you on a journey to really hone this business idea and work out, is this what I want to do? So for those who are watching, there's 2 parts of the Pioneer program that you can get involved with. If you're not a Birkbeck student or recent graduate, we have opened it up this year for the first time as a dedicated short course, because we want this to be an opportunity that everyone who's got a business idea can make the most of. For those of you who are current students or you've graduated within 2 years, then you have the opportunity to apply for a free place on the program. But Doyen, I'd love for you to be able to sum up what the Pioneer experience was for you. How did you find it? And yeah, what did it give you, I suppose, is what I'm trying to get at.
So I went to, I think I did Pioneer in 2018, or was it? Yeah,
I think it was. I was trying to rack my brain. Yes, I think it was.
Yeah, and you know what, Jenna, honestly, it was funny because I had run a business 16 years before that. I had 200 plus people in my team that I worked with. We're turning over good money and all that. And so as far as I was concerned, I didn't think I really needed anything. I was going to learn anything fantastically new. You know what I mean? And came into Pioneer, and I think the first thing was making us put our ideas on the business model canvas. And that was life-changing for me, because sometimes you can have the ideas tucked into your head, and to you it makes sense, but to the world, which is where it really needs to make sense, it doesn't make any sense because the things don't join up. But I think with Pioneer and having all this lovely entrepreneurs come and share their stories, their journey, what I found was that first of all, I became sure that I can do it. There's space for me. And also it helped me to be able to download the things in my brain, find how it connects together for me to be able to scale up. Because one of the things that we do, even as when we're starting up businesses, we can get into into a place where it's all about us, and when we're not there, our business does not exist. But with Pioneer, I was able to take myself out of the picture and be able to create things in my business so that it's not just about me, but still maintain the same quality and the same level of service that was important to me. So Pioneer helped me, shall I say, straighten my head and make my business more sure. And MapHa became a different company after Pioneer. If I tell Jenna how much money I started making after Pioneer, she might be asking for a cut. But definitely, we became stronger financially. I networked with so many people, some of who I still email, connect with, even till date when I have questions, and always willing to help me. And I think I like the morning coffees. I had to put that in because they don't get the morning coffees and croissant, but honestly, brilliant experience. And to cap it up, I didn't win the Pioneer competition. I'm still whinging, but it was a good experience as well to be able to put my pitch in 3 minutes and all that. So, I mean, all in all, and I'm saying this and emphasizing the fact that I had run a business 16 years prior. So for Pioneer to still deliver that much to me, I think it's a brilliant, brilliant program. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you did smash your pitch, Doyen. It was a very tough competition. So Doyen, thank you so much for the insights there on Pioneer. Merle, I want to come to you because I know we've only got a few minutes left now, but I do want to kind of get those nuggets and the key pieces of advice that you would give to someone who is listening now and wants to get started. And I've kind of said maximum 3 if there's like short bits of advice, or just 1. It's just so we do finish on time. But what would your key bits of advice be?
My advice would be, 1, join Pioneer. Because having been involved with it for a number of years, I haven't found a program like this, and I support a number of them. It is quite unique. The network that it will provide you, the quality of the advice, the exposure, the people who have the answers that you need, and the freedom that you'll have to ask those answers will stop you getting stuck on all sorts of stuff that the rest of us who didn't have the luxury of Pioneer constantly got stuck on. Time is the biggest enemy of any startup. Delay can be critical. If somebody out there knows what you need to know and you just ask, and you've got a network that you can ask, you're going to get unblocked. You're going to power forward much faster. But my advice is get started. Get your ideas down on paper. Give yourself permission to be creative. If you're not failing a little, if you're not making a few mistakes along the way, you're not being creative enough. So there you go, permission to make a few mistakes along the way. It's actually a good thing, not a bad thing. But get out there, get started, plan really, really well. And probably my only other big piece of advice, given that I'm only allowed a few moments, is to look after yourselves, guys. You know, you're the biggest asset your business will ever have. Everything of value that your business will go on to achieve starts here with you. So stay creative, stay well, stay fit, build a community around you of cheerleaders and supporters, stay connected to your customers, and you will go fly.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And that's exactly what the thread is throughout Pioneer as well. It's the well-being of you, the well-being of an entrepreneur, so you can absolutely smash it. Doyen, what would be your key bits of information to wrap up the session today?
Know yourself. Know yourself and what you're good at. Know what the market needs and start. Be ready to confront what you're sure of with what the market research and your tests reveal to you. So don't be static, be dynamic in your mind, in your actions, and that is what helps you to grow. So I would say that start, grow so that you can restart. And as long as you keep that going, then your business will always be fresh and would always deliver value.
I feel like this has just been like a mic drop session. I feel like that was like a mic drop moment of, you know, so much we've crammed into so much we've crammed into half an hour there. Ladies, thank you so much. Merle, Doyen, this has been awesome. And that is just a whistle stop tour of really navigating, okay, what has 2020 meant for startups? What does it mean for you, the person who's looking to start a business now, and what are those key bits of advice on why it actually could be the right time to start? But just give yourself as much chance of success as possible by taking this advice that Doyen and Merle has given you. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And if you've got any questions, just reach out, as I said, enterprise@bbk.ac.uk. But for now, we'll see you soon.